Is up, everybody? So I have an awesome video to show you guys today. I've been looking forward to showing off these cards for a while. So I'm going to do it top 5 style like I usually do. First card at number 5. Obviously, this is just an Aaron Judge Bowman Chrome card, but it is significant for me because it is my first purchase using eBay bucks. So for those of you that are not familiar with eBay bucks, for some reason I've been, buying a bunch of stuff on eBay for I don't know how many years and never knew about eBay bucks. Look into it if you're not familiar. It takes literally a minute to sign up for, maybe less than that, to sign up for eBay bucks. And the way it works is, like, let's say you make purchases in July, August, and September. In October, you accumulate eBay bucks, and then in October, you can then you can make a purchase using just the eBay bucks that you accumulated. So with the Topps Tribute Challenge, I made a bunch of purchases, and this was basically free. So it's pretty cool. I mean, if you buy stuff on eBay, there's no reason to not use eBay bucks. At number 4 is, this is an awesome card. This is the 92 Bowman Pedro Martinez in a PSA 10. I got this card for $20. So this is one of those cards I've been talking, I've mentioned Pedro as being one of the most undervalued baseball cards, whether it's the 91 Upper Deck or the 92 Bowman. I had been talking about the 91 Upper Deck, but when it came down to it, I really wanted the 92 Bowman card. So I'll probably eventually get the 91 Upper Deck card. But I got this for $20, PSA 10, one of the greatest pitchers of my generation. I was just looking at, some of his numbers. 1997, he had a 1.9 ERA. 98, he had 19 wins. 1999, he had 23 wins, a 2.07 ERA, and 313 strikeouts. And in 2000, he had a 1.74 ERA. So Pedro Martinez, just a beautiful card of one of my favorite sets ever. I've become a huge Pedro fan because he is fantastic. If you guys watch the MLB Network, he is awesome on the MLB Network. Him and AROD, I just love listening to those guys. And Pedro actually had a lot to do with this guy, Lucas Sims. Just kidding. This is obviously Luis Severino, friggin' PSA. But Pedro Martinez helped Luis Severino become basically a Cy Young pitcher. I mean, Severino is a dominant ace this year, really the only ace on the Yankees right now, and it's thanks to this guy, which is unbelievable. By the way, I'll throw a video. AROD explains perfectly. I'll put a link to it if you guys are interested. AROD explains perfectly how Pedro showed Luis Severino to be, take it to the next level. Anyway, I'll post a link to that. At number 3 is the father of modern day sports cards, and it is this card. This is Sy Berger. So if you're not familiar, you guys are like, who is that? So Sy Berger is, and I've talked about him before, he is the designer of the 1952 Topps set. He was part of Topps for forever. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2014, moved all the way up to vice president. This guy, I mean, if you collect baseball cards today, you owe a lot of credit or blame, depending on how you look at it, to this guy. One of my favorite stories, and I've talked about it before on the channel, is for the 1952 Topps set, the high-numbered set. He used to go to carnivals and sell cards, so 1952 Topps, the high-numbered series, didn't sell. Like, nobody wanted it. So it's literally sat in a warehouse. And then in 1959, they decided, all right, we got to get rid of this inventory because it's just sitting there. So he went to carnivals trying to sell them in 1959 for a penny a piece. Nobody would buy them. And then he started trying to sell them for 10 for a penny. Nobody wanted to buy them. And eventually they ended up dumping 3 garbage trucks, 300, if you can imagine this, 300 to 500 cases of the high-numbered 1952 Topps cards into the ocean. And if you, I mean, can you imagine? And of course, in case you didn't know, obviously the 1952 Topps set included the famous Mickey Mantle card, the Eddie Matthews card. I thought it was interesting. I guess his favorite design was the 1954 set. But this guy, I mean, he does so much credit to this guy. Oh, by the way, here I ended up actually picking up a card in memorandum of Sy Berger. So this is a 1952 Topps card, Bruce Edwards. And again, this is one of my favorite sets of all time. It's probably, if it's not number one, it's like top three. But just one of my favorite cards. And anyway, what I was saying about Sy Berger, he designed the cards. He also went out and met with the players and got them to sign contracts. And you can see here, this is the signed. Well, this may be here's an example. So this is a facsimile. So what they would do is in 1952. They would have them sign a Topps contract, and he had, Bruce Edwards, for example, signed the contract, and they took the facsimile and put it on the card. So every single card in the 1952 Topps set includes the autograph of that particular player. And so he deserves a lot of credit for the players that were on those sets, and you could give him the blame or credit for guys like Stan Musial not signing. Joe DiMaggio actually played in 1951, so he could have been part of the 1952 Topps set, but he didn't want to sign. So can you imagine a Joe DiMaggio in the 52 Topps set? And then also, the guy that sold me this also threw in this, Bobby Doerr, which is pretty awesome. This is a Hall of Fame. He was a Hall of Famer, 9-time All-Star. Red Sox actually retired his number, which is number 1. So I thought that was really cool. So I got these 2 cards. So let me put these in the background. So there you have it. So at number 2, and maybe the reason why you the final 2 cards are probably maybe the reason why you clicked on this video. Here it is. Without further ado, the 1955 Topps Roberto Clemente. Now this is a PSA 3.5, but this was absolutely beautiful. This is the perfect example of buying the card and not the grade. I mean, look at this card. Look at the centering on this card. I remember when I bought this. This was on a Probstein auction, and there were 70 people watching this card, and went in and won the auction, and I actually would have paid more than I did. I fell in love. I spent weeks. For whatever reason, I decided I need to have this Roberto Clemente, the 1955 Topps Roberto Clemente, who was, a 15-time All-Star, first Latin American player to win an MVP, a World Series MVP, World Series as a starter, and one of the most iconic cards of all time, the 1955 Topps Clemente. Obviously, the way he died was tragic, but also adds to the lore of Roberto Clemente. But look at this card. I mean, look at the centering on this. So I ended up paying, again, buying the card, not the grade. And one of the things that you learn as a more experienced collector is, the 3.5, the grade is something, it's not something that I completely disregard, but it would be something like looking at just the grade on a card would be like looking at a baseball player's batting average only in terms of determining how good they are. We all know that, you don't just look at a batting average. You look at their, OPS. You look at on-base percentage. You look at slugging. You look at their WAR, their S-WAR, depending on, you'd be crazy to just look at batting average. So I look at the grade. I'm not saying that it's completely unimportant, but at the end of the day, I want to buy the card, and the beauty of this being only a 3.5 is that I can afford it. It makes it more affordable. But at the same time, I did pay for this card like it was a 4 or a PSA 5 even. But I'd much rather have this because it has impossible centering. If you guys look at what's on the internet, look up eBay, you know, Roberto Clemente 55 tops. The centering on 95% of the cards out there, unless they're like a PSA 8 or 9, is disgusting. They're just I don't know. So absolutely beautiful card. Obviously, I think what took it down to a 3.5 is the corners. The bottom left-hand corner is a little, I guess, but I mean, it looks a little undergraded, to be honest with you. But I was actually looking also that there is only one PSA 10 out there for the 55 tops Clemente. My guess is that card would probably go for $1.5–2 million right now, if it were to go on auction. So there you go. Look at that. Look at that card. That'll look nice in the display case. And that number 1 is a card that I showed off in a response video to Ray from Philly. And unless you were into that contest, I figured I'd show it off one more time. Picked it up back in April, and it's the 1951 Bowman Mickey Mantle. And this is an SGC 3. And again, you'll see a common theme of the cards that I try to collect for the most part is that they have really nice centering. So this particular card, again, I looked everywhere. Threes, even a 3 for a 51 Bowman Mickey Mantle is gotten really, really expensive. But at the same time, when you compare that to the 1952 tops Mickey Mantle, it's still affordable from some kind of perspective. So that's why I was like, you know what, let me pick up the 51 Bowman Mickey Mantle while it's still somewhat affordable. And thanks to you guys, everyone, I had a contest and I threw out 5 or 6 cards out there, and I was like, which card should I work on picking up in 2018? And the overwhelming majority was to pick up the 51 Bowman if you can afford it. And this card is just absolutely beautiful. That's all I can say about that. So here you go. 2 awesome cards, iconic cards, 2 of the greatest cards, and you know, if you're a baseball fan. And thank you, Sy Berger, although you had absolutely nothing to do with the 51 Bowman Mickey Mantle. But Sy Berger sort of kept the hobby alive for many years when it was just Topps doing their thing. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. It's been a lot of fun. So I am closing in on 2,000 subscribers. I will probably I'll definitely be doing a giveaway when I get a little bit closer, probably to like 1950. So stay tuned for that. That's it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll talk to you later.